Okay, this video is late, and I will explain why in a second. But this video should be relatively short, so I'm going to use it to do a little bit of babbling. So just forgive me. So, this is not my bedroom, even though there is a bed here. This is my spare room in my house. I hope to be eventually doing these videos in the room on the other side of that wall. That room right now is a mess. It's a wreck. I want to paint it. I want to put new molding up, new doors, a lot of stuff I want to do in there. That'll eventually be a game room and hopefully my video room for these videos. Might have some bourbon in there in the refrigerator, possibly even. We'll see. Not sure how that's going to go. Also, okay, so why am I doing this on Sunday? I said I'd be Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Well, believe it or not, and you will not hear this come out of my mouth very often, the last week at work, kicked my ass. I was beat. I do not work hard. Anybody who knows what I do at work probably thinks I'm full of shit right now, but actually last week was rough on me. So Thursday when I got home, I was just beat. Friday, I was going to sit down and do this, but my son was in the hospital. No biggie. He is very cautionary because of something that happened to him a few years ago. So when something happens to him, he will not hesitate to go to the hospital if he feels that it's necessary. So Friday, I didn't get to do it. I sat down Saturday night, and I actually did this video, and it was pretty good until I started rambling on like an idiot. So that got deleted. So here I am. Sunday night, and the topic today is pretty simple. I don't even really need to drink bourbon to do this, but I'm gonna. Today it is about drinking your bourbon with ice. Now, I do want to make a point that I have heard some people say that you have to do some things a certain way, and I'm gonna say that they're just wrong. Like you have to have your ice in the glass first and then pour your bourbon on top of it, or it's just not going to be right. Or that's the correct way. That's the correct process. It does not matter at all. A friend of mine, Kristen, she will take water and put it in the glass and then store it in her freezer sideways, so there's a slant in there. I have done this before, and I actually do think that it gives you a smoother melt, and I'm going to go into that in a second here about... Why don't I just dive into it? So, drinking your bourbon with ice. If the ice would just melt a little bit slower, I swear this would be the best way to drink bourbon. What do we have here? Mr. Cat, always present. And the reason I say that is because if you have the ice in there and it drinks and it melts fairly slowly, and you get this smooth melt throughout the entire time you're drinking it, then every sip is different. Every single sip you take is going to be a little more diluted. It's going to give you a little different flavor. The problem is that your last bit of drink. I have to get rid of this guy. Give me 1 second. So, as I was saying, the problem with ice is that oftentimes your last sip is just so diluted, you're not even hardly drinking bourbon. So, you want to drink it fast enough that you have, or you want to put enough bourbon in there, I guess, that once it's diluted, once it's all melted, you don't get this ridiculous diluted drink. And I just don't add enough bourbon for that to happen. So, let's go on it. I got my ice in here. This is a rare breed, which I actually am hoping that this gives me... I'm not a huge fan. I like it. I think it's okay. I think it's worth what it costs. But that's about it. I do hear a lot of people rave about rare breed, and it's underwhelming to me. But by no means is it bad. It's okay, and I think that this might actually be a good whiskey, a good bourbon for me to have with ice, because it's kind of sweet, and I'm wondering I'm going to find out right now. I've never had it with ice before. I'm wondering if the ice will take a little bite off of it, a little bit of that sweetness off of it. We're going to see. Now, I apologize to you that you're going to have to sit here and watch me, but I myself cannot just start sipping bourbon without... I want to experience the bourbon rather than drink it. So I have to get this experience of nosing it before I start drinking it. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now that I made a solid guess on this. This actually brings out a lot of flavor in this, unless I'm just... Wow. Okay. I have to take back what I was just saying about Rare Breed. That's pretty damn good. I don't know what I paid for that bottle. But this is not as sweet as I remember it being. It's not as... You want your bourbon to taste a certain way. You want all your bourbons to be different. But I don't want it to be a rye. And I don't know. To me, this was a lot like a rye. But I'm fairly impressed with what this ice did to it. And if I'm being honest, which I'd rather be honest, it was just a total wild guess that ice might have some positive effect on this. I could have seen it going the other way. So anyway, not much to it, right? If you want to have your bourbon with ice, have your bourbon with ice. If you use too much of it, you're just going to dilute that. If you want to use a lot of ice, then you got to drink a lot of bourbon. And I'm just not a fan. I like to have my bourbon in little bits and pieces and go to bed. I'm experiencing the bourbon. I'm not drinking the bourbon. I must sound a little bit ridiculous, but that's the best I can do today on short notice. I was on the phone for a couple hours, and I really wanted to put this out, so I got her done. This is probably my worst video so far, but up and coming. Yeah, let me tell you what I want to do next. I think the next video, which is probably going to be not for 2 weeks. I could be working a heavy schedule at work, so I probably won't do anything for 2 weeks. But I think that the next thing, I just want to sit and talk to you about why you do and why you do not want to get the bourbons that are hard to find and expensive. So that's probably going to be my next thing. And then after that, I think I'm going to do a series of this is what's easy to find and very satisfying. These are the bourbons that in my mind you can find anywhere. Meyer, just about any party store that you go to, you'll be able to find these bourbons. And they are very satisfying and worth the money. So those are next 2 things on my agenda, I think. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to ask you, hit that like button, subscribe. Go ahead and share this if you... Please share it if you will. I'll appreciate it. Thanks. All right. Talk to you all soon. Bye.